There's a quiet, powerful dignity in knowing your worth. It's not boastful or arrogant, it's a grounded sense of who you are and what you bring to the world. But sometimes the world, or at least the people in it, won't see it. And here's the hard truth you have to walk away when you're not appreciated. Walking away isn't about giving up. It's about standing up. It's about refusing to shrink yourself, compromise your values, or beg for crumbs of validation. Because the moment you start begging for appreciation, you hand over the keys to your worth to someone else. And that is not where your worth belongs. Knowing your worth is the foundation for walking away from unappreciative spaces. It is a profound realization that goes beyond self-confidence. It is about deeply understanding the value of who you are and what you bring to the world. This knowledge forms the bedrock of your self-respect and guides your decisions in relationships, work, and life. When you truly know your worth, it becomes the lens through which you view every interaction and opportunity. It's not a fleeting feeling or something that comes and goes based on external circumstances. It is a steady, unshakable truth that you carry within yourself. To know your worth is to understand that you are inherently valuable, regardless of your achievements, mistakes, or the opinions of others. This doesn't mean you are perfect or above critique. It means you recognize that your flaws, imperfections, and struggles do not diminish your value. Too often, we let external validation dictate how we feel about ourselves. We chase approval, applause, or acknowledgement, believing these will confirm our worth. But when we rely on others to affirm us, we place our self-esteem in their hands, making it vulnerable to their moods, biases, and limitations. Knowing your worth is also about understanding the unique qualities and gifts you bring to the table. It's not arrogance, it's clarity. It's recognizing your skills, talents, and contributions and refusing to let them be diminished or dismissed. People who know their worth don't feel the need to prove it constantly. They don't beg for recognition or validation because they are already secure in the truth of who they are. This inner security allows them to walk away when they are not appreciated because they understand that their value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see it. Walking away when you are not appreciated isn't about pride or punishment, it's about protecting your sense of self. When you remain in spaces where your efforts, presence, or contributions are undervalued, it erodes your confidence over time. It's like pouring water into a cracked vessel. It doesn't matter how much you give, it will never be enough to fill the void. Staying in such environments not only drains you, but also reinforces a harmful narrative that you have to work harder to earn appreciation. This cycle can be exhausting and demoralizing, leaving you questioning your own worth. However, knowing your worth means you can recognize when you are being undervalued and make the courageous choice to step away. It doesn't mean you have to cut ties with every person or situation that doesn't fully acknowledge your contributions. Sometimes it's about setting boundaries and communicating your needs. But when it becomes clear that appreciation and respect are not forthcoming, knowing your worth empowers you to leave without guilt or regret. It reminds you that you deserve to be in places where you are celebrated, not merely tolerated. Knowing your worth also requires self-reflection and self-compassion. It's about taking the time to understand who you are at your core and appreciating your journey. This process is deeply personal and ongoing. It's not something that can be handed to you by others. It requires you to silence the noise of comparison and external expectations and listen to your own voice. It involves forgiving yourself for past mistakes and letting go of the belief that you have to earn your worth through perfection or productivity. True self-worth is about embracing your humanity and treating yourself with the same kindness and respect you would offer to someone you love. When you know your worth, you attract different kinds of people and opportunities. You no longer settle for relationships, jobs, or environments that drain you. Instead, you seek out spaces that align with your values and nurture your growth. This doesn't mean life becomes effortless or that you'll never face challenges, but it does mean you approach those challenges from a place of strength and self-assurance. Knowing your worth helps you navigate rejection and criticism without internalizing it. It allows you to see these moments as reflections of others' perspectives rather than measures of your value. One of the most powerful aspects of knowing your worth is the freedom it gives you. When you are not dependent on others for validation, you are free to make choices that honor your needs and desires. You are no longer trapped in the cycle of people-pleasing or overextending yourself to gain approval. This freedom allows you to prioritize your well-being and pursue what truly matters to you. It also enables you to give freely and authentically because your generosity comes from a place of abundance, not scarcity. Knowing your worth doesn't mean you won't face moments of doubt or insecurity. These feelings are natural and part of being human. But when you have a strong foundation of self-worth, you can weather these moments without losing sight of your value. You can remind yourself of your strengths and the unique light you bring to the world. And you can make decisions that reflect your commitment to honoring yourself, even when they are difficult. Walking away from unappreciative spaces is not an easy choice. It can be painful to leave behind people or situations you care about. But knowing your worth gives you the clarity and courage to do so when it's necessary. It reminds you that staying in an environment that doesn't value you is not an act of loyalty or strength, it's a disservice to yourself. By choosing to walk away, you affirm your worth and open the door to opportunities and relationships that will honor it. In the end, knowing your worth is not just about how you see yourself, it's about how you allow others to treat you. It's about setting the standard for what you will accept and refusing to settle for anything less. It's about showing up for yourself with the same love, respect, and appreciation you wish to receive from others. And when you truly know your worth, you carry it with you wherever you go, shaping your life in ways that reflect the deep, unshakable truth of your value. Walking away is an act of courage, not surrender. This truth is one of the most liberating and transformative realizations you can embrace. At its core, walking away is not about giving up, it's about standing up for yourself, for your values, and for the life you deserve. It's a powerful declaration that you refuse to stay in spaces where you are diminished, disrespected, or undervalued. To walk away requires bravery because it means stepping into the unknown, letting go of what is familiar, and choosing to prioritize your well-being over the comfort of staying. Courage, in this context, doesn't look like bold defiance or grand gestures. Often it's quiet, deliberate, and deeply personal. It's the courage to face the fear of being misunderstood, judged, or criticized for your decision. It's the strength to choose yourself even when it feels like the world is asking you to settle for less. Courage doesn't mean you're unafraid, it means you're willing to act, despite the fear. When you walk away from situations that no longer serve you, you are choosing to honor your inner truth over external expectations, and that is an act of profound bravery. Walking away can feel counterintuitive, especially when we've been taught to endure, persevere, and fight for what we want. There's a societal narrative that equates staying with strength and leaving with weakness, but this perspective ignores the nuanced reality of human relationships and personal growth. Staying in an unfulfilling or harmful situation doesn't always equate to resilience, it can also signify fear, complacency, or a lack of self-worth. True strength lies in the ability to recognize when a situation is no longer aligned with your values or well-being and having the courage to let it go. This act of courage is not easy. Walking away often means confronting deep emotions, grief, disappointment, and sometimes even guilt. It can feel like you're abandoning people, opportunities, or dreams you once held dear. But courage asks you to look beyond the immediate pain and focus on the long-term impact. It asks you to trust that leaving something behind is not the end of your story, but the beginning of a new chapter. It's about believing that there is more waiting for you on the other side of the door you're closing. Walking away is also a deeply empowering choice. It's a reminder that you have agency over your life, even in situations where you feel stuck or powerless. When you choose to walk away, you reclaim control over your narrative. You're no longer passively accepting what's given to you, you're actively deciding what you will and will not tolerate. This empowerment doesn't just change your current circumstances, it reshapes how you see yourself. It reinforces the belief that you are worthy of respect, love, and opportunities that align with your values. There's a misconception that walking away is a sign of failure, but in reality, it's often a sign of wisdom. It takes clarity and discernment to recognize when a relationship, job, or situation has reached its limit. It's not about blaming others or viewing the experience as a mistake, it's about acknowledging that growth sometimes requires leaving. Walking away is not an indictment of the past, it's an investment in your future. It's choosing to create space for new opportunities, connections, and experiences that align with your evolving self. Courage is not just about the decision to walk away, it's also about the aftermath. Once you've made the choice, you may face doubt, second-guessing, and even regret. People might question your decision or try to convince you to stay. But courage asks you to hold firm, to trust that you made the right choice for yourself, even if it's uncomfortable in the moment. It's about standing in your truth and resisting the temptation to return to what is familiar simply because it feels safer. Walking away also requires you to confront your fears. Fear of the unknown is one of the most significant barriers to leaving a situation that isn't serving you. What if there's nothing better out there? What if I'm making a mistake? What if I'm alone? These questions can be paralyzing, but courage doesn't demand that you have all the answers. It simply asks that you take the first step. Trusting yourself to navigate the uncertainty is part of the process. And with every step you take, you build confidence in your ability to create a life that aligns with your worth. Another critical aspect of walking away is the recognition that it's not just about leaving something behind, it's about walking towards something better. It's about creating space for what you truly deserve, even if you can't see it yet. Sometimes walking away is an act of faith in yourself and the universe, a belief that there is more waiting for you than what you're leaving behind. This forward-looking mindset is what transforms the act of walking away from one of loss to one of hope and possibility. Walking away also sets a powerful example for others. When you have the courage to leave situations that don't honor your worth, you inspire others to do the same. You show them that it's okay to choose themselves, to prioritize their happiness and well-being over societal expectations or the fear of judgment. Your courage becomes a ripple that extends beyond your own life, encouraging others to find their own strength and make choices that honor their worth. Ultimately, walking away is an act of self-love. It's about refusing to settle for anything less than what you deserve and trusting that you are capable of building a life that reflects your values and aspirations. It's not an easy path, but it's a meaningful one. Courage doesn't guarantee that the journey will be smooth, but it ensures that the journey will be authentic. And when you walk away from what no longer serves you, you take a step closer to the life you are meant to live. Your worth is not dependent on others' recognition or validation. This truth is both liberating and challenging to internalize in a world that often measures value by external approval. From an early age, many of us are conditioned to seek validation from others, teachers, parents, peers, colleagues, or society at large. We are taught to perform, to excel, to conform, and to fit into molds that guarantee approval. While recognition can feel rewarding, tying your sense of worth to external validation creates a fragile foundation. It places your self-esteem in the hands of others, making it susceptible to their opinions, judgments, and even their flaws. The idea that your worth is inherent is a radical shift from the external metrics we often rely on to measure ourselves. It means that you are valuable simply because you exist, not because of what you do, how much you achieve, or how others perceive you. Your worth is not determined by your job title, your income, the relationships you're in, or the accolades you've earned. These things may enhance your sense of accomplishment or bring joy, but they are not the essence of your value as a person. You are worthy because you are here, a unique and irreplaceable individual with experiences, thoughts, and gifts that only you can bring to the world. When you base your worth on external validation, you live in a state of dependency. You find yourself constantly striving to please others, fearing rejection, and seeking approval to feel whole. This dependency can be exhausting and disempowering, because no matter how much validation you receive, it is never enough to fill the void. External approval is fleeting, it can be given or taken away in an instant. Relying on it makes you vulnerable to the whims of others and leaves you chasing a sense of self-worth that always feels just out of reach. Recognizing that your worth is independent of external validation requires a profound internal shift. It starts with questioning the narratives you've been taught about what makes someone valuable. Is it their achievements, their looks, their social status? These measures are not only subjective but also often rooted in societal expectations that have little to do with individual worth. Real value comes from within, from your character, your integrity, your capacity for love and empathy, and your ability to grow and learn. These are qualities that cannot be measured by external recognition and do not diminish when others fail to acknowledge them. When you understand that your worth is intrinsic, you begin to free yourself from the need to prove anything to anyone. This doesn't mean you stop caring about your work or relationships. It means you approach them from a place of authenticity rather than a need for validation. You can take risks, try new things, and express yourself fully without fearing failure or rejection because your value does not hinge on the outcome. You no longer need to contort yourself to fit into others' expectations or sacrifice your needs to gain approval. Instead, you can show up as your true self, confident in the knowledge that you are enough as you are. Detaching your worth from external validation also transforms how you respond to criticism and rejection. These experiences are a natural part of life and can be painful, But when you know your worth, they no longer define you. Criticism becomes feedback rather than a personal attack, and rejection becomes an opportunity to redirect rather than a verdict on your value. You understand that others' opinions are shaped by their own experiences, biases, and limitations, and therefore say more about them than about you. This perspective allows you to remain grounded and resilient in the face of adversity. One of the most empowering aspects of knowing that your worth is independent of validation is the freedom it gives you to set boundaries. When you no longer rely on others to affirm your value, you can make decisions that prioritize your well-being without fear of losing their approval. You can walk away from toxic relationships, decline opportunities that don't align with your values, and stand firm in your convictions. This doesn't mean you become indifferent to others or unwilling to compromise. It means you no longer compromise yourself to gain acceptance. Living from a place of intrinsic worth also changes the way you interact with others. When you no longer seek validation, you can give and receive love more freely. You can celebrate others' successes without jealousy or insecurity because their achievements don't diminish your value. You can offer support and kindness without expecting anything in return because your actions are rooted in abundance rather than a need for reciprocation. This shift creates deeper, more authentic connections because you are engaging from a place of wholeness rather than seeking completion through others. Understanding that your worth is independent of recognition also helps you navigate the complexities of modern life. Social media, for example, often amplifies the pressure to seek validation through likes, comments, and followers. When you know your worth, you can engage with these platforms without letting them define you. You can share your thoughts, creativity, or experiences without attaching your self-esteem to the response. You recognize that your value is not tied to algorithms or popularity, but to the unique contributions you make to the world. This internal sense of worth doesn't develop overnight. It requires self-reflection, self-compassion, and a willingness to unlearn deeply ingrained beliefs. It involves acknowledging your own humanity, the strengths and weaknesses, triumphs and failures, light and shadow that make you who you are. It's about embracing yourself fully, not because you are perfect, but because you are imperfect and still worthy of love and respect. Ultimately, knowing that your worth is not dependent on others' recognition is a form of liberation. It frees you to live authentically, to pursue your passions, and to create a life that reflects your true self. It allows you to let go of the fear of judgment and the need for constant approval, replacing them with confidence and self-assurance. And when you live from this place of intrinsic worth, you inspire others to do the same. You show them that they too are enough just as they are, and that their value does not hinge on anyone else's ability to see it. Leaving unappreciative environments creates room for growth and true connections. This idea speaks to the transformative power of making space in your life for what truly serves your well-being, happiness, and development. When you remain in spaces where your efforts, presence, or contributions are undervalued, you stagnate. You pour energy into relationships, work, or situations that do not nurture you in return, leaving little room for new opportunities to take root. Growth requires fertile ground, and staying in unappreciative environments is like trying to thrive in soil that is barren or depleted. Choosing to leave such spaces is not an act of selfishness or weakness, it is an act of self-preservation and wisdom. It's about recognizing that your time, energy, and talents are finite resources that deserve to be invested where they will flourish. Staying in a place where you are undervalued often leads to a cycle of frustration, self-doubt, and burnout. You begin to question your worth, wondering if perhaps you need to try harder, give more, or compromise further. But the truth is, no amount of effort can change a space that is unwilling or incapable of appreciating you. Walking away from unappreciative environments is an act of courage because it requires you to confront the fear of the unknown. It's easy to stay in situations that feel familiar, even when they are unfulfilling, because they offer a sense of security. Leaving means stepping into uncertainty and trusting that better opportunities and connections await you. This leap of faith can be daunting, but it is also where the potential for growth lies. Growth does not happen in comfort zones. It happens when you challenge yourself to pursue what you truly deserve. Leaving creates space not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. When you free yourself from the weight of an unappreciative environment, you create room for clarity, creativity, and self-discovery. You begin to see new possibilities that were previously obscured by the demands and negativity of the space you were in. This newfound clarity allows you to realign with your values, passions, and goals. It's a process of shedding what no longer serves you so that you can embrace what does. True connections can only form when you are in environments that recognize and honor your worth. When you stay in unappreciative spaces, you may find yourself surrounded by relationships or dynamics that are transactional rather than authentic. These connections are often based on what you can provide rather than who you are. They leave you feeling drained and unseen because they lack the depth and reciprocity that characterize meaningful relationships. By leaving such spaces, you open the door to connections that are built on mutual respect, appreciation, and understanding. True connections thrive in environments where you feel valued and supported. These are the spaces where you can be your authentic self without fear of judgment or rejection. When you surround yourself with people who appreciate your unique qualities and contributions, you feel a sense of belonging and empowerment. These relationships nourish your spirit and encourage your growth because they are based on genuine care and mutual investment. Leaving unappreciative environments allows you to seek out and cultivate these kinds of connections. The process of leaving also teaches you important lessons about self-worth and boundaries. It reinforces the idea that you do not have to settle for less than you deserve. Every time you choose to walk away from an environment that does not value you, you are affirming your worth and setting a standard for how you expect to be treated. This act of self-respect becomes a powerful message to yourself and others that you will not tolerate being diminished or overlooked. Creating room for growth and true connections also requires a willingness to let go of the past. It can be tempting to hold onto unappreciative environments out of nostalgia or hope that things will change. You may find yourself clinging to memories of better times or the belief that if you just try harder, the situation will improve. But growth requires you to release what is no longer serving you, so that you can move forward. Letting go is not about erasing the past, but about recognizing when it has run its course and choosing to prioritize your future. Walking away from unappreciative spaces is not always easy, especially when you have invested significant time, energy, or emotion into them. There may be feelings of guilt, sadness, or even anger as you navigate the decision to leave. But these emotions are part of the process of growth. They are a sign that you are honoring your truth and making choices that align with your well-being. Over time, you will come to see that the discomfort of leaving is outweighed by the rewards of creating a life that reflects your worth. The space you create by leaving unappreciative environments becomes fertile ground for new opportunities. Whether it's a new job, a healthier relationship, or a personal passion you've been neglecting, these opportunities arise because you have made room for them. Growth is not just about leaving behind what doesn't serve you, it's about stepping into what does. It's about actively seeking out environments and connections that inspire you, challenge you, and help you become the best version of yourself. True connections, once found, are a reminder of what is possible when you honor your worth. They reinforce the idea that you deserve to be seen, heard, and valued. These relationships and opportunities are not about perfection, they are about mutual respect, understanding, and appreciation. They are the reward for having the courage to walk away from what no longer serves you and the wisdom to seek out what does. Leaving unappreciative environments is a transformative act that allows you to reclaim your energy, redefine your boundaries, and rediscover your potential. It's a journey of self-respect and empowerment that leads to deeper connections, greater fulfillment, and a life that truly reflects your worth. By choosing to leave what diminishes you, you create space for growth, authenticity, and the relationships that will celebrate who you are. In doing so, you not only honor yourself, but also set the stage for a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Walking away allows self-worth to flourish. This profound truth underscores the liberating power of choosing yourself, especially in situations where your value is overlooked or disregarded. When you remain in spaces that fail to acknowledge your worth, you unintentionally internalize the message that you are not enough. Over time, this erodes your confidence, dims your light, and compromises your ability to see and embrace your inherent value. Walking away from these environments, however difficult, is an act of reclamation, a declaration that your worth is not up for negotiation or dependent on external approval. Self-worth is the foundation upon which we build our lives. It influences our decisions, relationships, and the opportunities we pursue. It determines how we allow ourselves to be treated and what we believe we deserve. When you are in environments that do not reflect or affirm your value, your sense of self-worth becomes vulnerable. The voices of doubt and inadequacy grow louder, and the belief that you must do more, be more, or give more to be worthy can take hold. This belief is not only untrue but also deeply harmful, as it perpetuates cycles of self-sacrifice and neglect. Walking away disrupts this cycle. It is a powerful assertion of your intrinsic value, a statement that you will no longer remain in spaces that fail to recognize your worth. The act of leaving is not about seeking validation elsewhere, but about reaffirming your own belief in yourself. It is an acknowledgement that your self-worth is not tied to how others treat you or the recognition they offer, but is rooted in your existence and uniqueness. This shift in perspective is transformative, allowing you to reclaim your narrative and take ownership of your identity. Leaving unappreciative environments requires courage because it often means confronting deeply ingrained fears. Fear of rejection, loneliness, or failure can make staying seem like the safer choice. You may worry about what others will think or question whether you are overreacting. These fears are natural, but they should not dictate your decisions. Walking away is not about abandoning responsibilities or relationships without cause. It is about recognizing when staying becomes detrimental to your well-being and choosing to prioritize yourself. It is about understanding that honoring your worth sometimes means letting go. As you walk away, you create the space for self-worth to grow. This growth is not immediate but unfolds as you begin to distance yourself from the negativity of the environment you left behind. In the absence of constant judgment, dismissal, or undervaluation, you have the opportunity to rediscover yourself. You begin to see your strengths, talents, and qualities more clearly, unclouded by the weight of unappreciative circumstances. This process is deeply empowering, as it allows you to rebuild your self-perception from a place of authenticity rather than external influence. Walking away also helps you establish and reinforce boundaries. Boundaries are essential for maintaining self-worth because they communicate what you will and will not tolerate. In unappreciative environments, boundaries are often blurred or disregarded, leaving you feeling exploited or undervalued. By choosing to leave, you are setting a powerful boundary, one that says you refuse to stay where your needs, contributions, or presence are not respected. This act of self-respect not only protects your self-worth, but also sends a clear message to others about how you expect to be treated. Leaving unappreciative spaces also creates a ripple effect in your life. As your self-worth grows, you become more selective about the environments and relationships you engage with. You begin to seek out spaces that align with your values and support your growth. These spaces are not always perfect, but they are marked by mutual respect, appreciation, and understanding. They provide fertile ground for your self-worth to continue flourishing because they affirm your value rather than diminishing it. The process of walking away and allowing self-worth to flourish is not without its challenges. You may face moments of doubt or wonder if you made the right choice. You may encounter resistance from others who do not understand your decision or who benefited from your presence in the unappreciative environment. These moments can be difficult, but they are also opportunities for growth. They teach you to trust yourself and to prioritize your well-being over external opinions. They remind you that self-worth is not about pleasing everyone, but about honoring your truth. Walking away also offers the chance to redefine success on your own terms. In unappreciative environments, success is often dictated by others' expectations or standards, leaving little room for your authentic aspirations. By leaving, you free yourself from these constraints and create the space to pursue what truly matters to you. This redefinition of success is deeply tied to self-worth because it reflects your belief in your own potential and the importance of living a life that aligns with your values and passions. As your self-worth flourishes, you begin to show up differently in the world. You carry yourself with confidence, make decisions with clarity, and engage in relationships with authenticity. You no longer seek approval or validation to feel worthy because you know your value is inherent. This shift not only transforms your life, but also inspires those around you. Your actions serve as a powerful reminder to others that they, too, have the right to honor their worth and walk away from what no longer serves them. Ultimately, walking away and allowing self-worth to flourish is an act of self-love. It is a declaration that you deserve to live a life that reflects your value, not one that diminishes it. It is a commitment to prioritize your well-being, growth, and happiness, even when it means making difficult choices. And it is a recognition that your worth is not determined by how others treat you, but by the unique and irreplaceable person you are. By choosing to walk away, you open the door to a life where your self-worth can truly thrive, unencumbered by the limitations of unappreciative spaces. Choosing yourself is a radical act of self-love and empowerment. In a world that often encourages self-sacrifice, conformity, and the prioritization of others' needs over your own, the decision to choose yourself can feel both revolutionary and deeply challenging. It is not about selfishness or disregard for others. Rather, it is about recognizing your inherent value and understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Choosing yourself is about reclaiming your agency, honoring your needs, and making choices that align with your well-being and authenticity. The journey to choosing yourself begins with self-awareness. It requires you to look inward and acknowledge your desires, values, and boundaries. For many, this can be a difficult task because we are often taught to suppress or ignore our own needs in favor of meeting societal expectations or pleasing others. Over time, this disconnection from self can leave you feeling lost, unfulfilled, and undervalued. Choosing yourself means reconnecting with who you are at your core and allowing that truth to guide your decisions. When you choose yourself, you prioritize your emotional, mental, and physical health. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others or neglect your responsibilities. It means you recognize that your well-being is the foundation upon which you can build a fulfilling life. You begin to set boundaries that protect your energy and prevent burnout. You learn to say no to what drains you and yes to what nurtures you. This shift in focus is not always easy, especially if you are accustomed to putting others first, but it is necessary for long-term growth and happiness. Choosing yourself also means embracing your imperfections and understanding that you are worthy of love and respect exactly as you are. It is a rejection of the idea that you need to be perfect, achieve more, or prove your worth to be deserving of kindness and care. This self-acceptance is transformative because it allows you to show up authentically in all areas of your life. You no longer feel the need to wear masks or conform to others' expectations. Instead, you can embrace your uniqueness and let your true self shine. The act of choosing yourself often requires courage, especially when it involves making difficult decisions or stepping away from situations that no longer serve you. Whether it's leaving a toxic relationship, walking away from an unfulfilling job, or breaking free from societal norms, these choices can feel daunting. They may be met with resistance from others who do not understand or support your decision. But choosing yourself is not about gaining external approval. It is about aligning with your own truth and living in a way that honors your needs and aspirations. One of the most liberating aspects of choosing yourself is the freedom it brings. When you stop seeking validation from others, you free yourself from the pressure to conform or perform. You begin to make decisions based on what feels right for you, rather than what others expect or demand. This freedom allows you to pursue your passions, explore your interests, and create a life that reflects your values. It empowers you to take risks and embrace opportunities that align with your goals, knowing that your worth is not dependent on the outcome. Choosing yourself also has a profound impact on your relationships. When you prioritize your own well-being, you are better equipped to show up fully and authentically for others. You engage in relationships from a place of wholeness rather than neediness, creating deeper and more meaningful connections. You also become more discerning about the relationships you invest in, choosing to surround yourself with people who uplift and support you rather than those who diminish or exploit you. This shift in dynamics fosters mutual respect and appreciation, strengthening the bonds that truly matter. As you choose yourself, you may encounter moments of doubt or guilt. You may question whether you are doing the right thing or worry about how your choices will affect others. These feelings are natural, especially if you are unlearning patterns of self-sacrifice and people-pleasing. It is important to remind yourself that choosing yourself is not about harming or neglecting others. It is about ensuring that you have the strength, energy, and clarity to contribute meaningfully to your relationships and endeavors. It is an act of self-respect that benefits not only you but also those around you. Choosing yourself also requires patience and self-compassion. It is not a one-time decision but an ongoing process that evolves as you grow and change. There will be moments when you falter or revert to old patterns, and that's okay. What matters is your commitment to continually return to yourself and prioritize your well-being. Each time you choose yourself, you strengthen your ability to stand firm in your truth and navigate life with confidence and authenticity. The impact of choosing yourself extends beyond your personal life. When you live in alignment with your values and prioritize your well-being, you inspire others to do the same. You become a model of what it means to live authentically and courageously, encouraging those around you to honor their own needs and aspirations. This ripple effect creates a culture of self-respect and empowerment, fostering environments where everyone feels valued and supported. Choosing yourself is not about isolating yourself from others or rejecting the importance of community. It is about recognizing that your relationship with yourself is the foundation of all other relationships. When you nurture and honor yourself, you have more to give to others. You can contribute to your community, support your loved ones, and pursue your passions with greater clarity and purpose. Choosing yourself is not a rejection of connection, it is an embrace of your own worth as a vital part of the interconnected whole. Ultimately, choosing yourself is an act of liberation. It is a declaration that you are worthy of love, respect, and fulfillment not because of what you do or how others perceive you, but simply because you exist. It is a commitment to living authentically, honoring your needs, and creating a life that reflects your truth. By choosing yourself, you reclaim your power, nurture your self-worth, and set the stage for a life of purpose, joy, and connection. Choosing yourself is one of the most transformative and courageous acts of self-love you can undertake. It is a commitment to honor your worth, prioritize your well-being, and live authentically. This journey requires courage, self-awareness, and the willingness to make difficult decisions that align with your truth, even when it means walking away from people, environments, or situations that no longer serve you. By choosing yourself, you create space for growth, nurture meaningful connections, and inspire others to honor their own worth. It is not a selfish act, but a declaration that you deserve to live a life that reflects your values and aspirations. In prioritizing your needs and boundaries, you reclaim your power and embrace your uniqueness, setting the foundation for a life of purpose, fulfillment, and joy. Ultimately, choosing yourself is not just about changing your circumstances, it's about transforming the way you see and honor yourself.